controversial South African opposition party leader has been denied entry into the United Kingdom for the second time in just 2 months. The UK Home Office saying his presence is non-conducive to the public good, pointing to his support for Hamas and past statements that threaten to take up arms and slaughter white people.
So what's up, guys? Welcome back. As always.
Yeah. Glad to have you guys here. Hope you guys have been watching the videos in this series that we're making, and yeah, let's jump into it. Pretty much ties in with what we've been speaking about recently. If you've been watching,
Yes.
If you haven't, come on, guys, hop on, watch.
You need to watch. So yes, the video on that was played in the Oval Office with Julius in the background.
Excuse me, turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you.
It was on loudspeaker.
Yeah,
Almost times 100.
bro, you could hear that from California if they played it at the White House.
And Julius killed the farmers.
Yeah, that song.
It's so crazy that they made Julius the representation of South Africa as an overall sentimental reflection
Exactly.
of South African government, of the South African government and South African people, which was just so crazy. You know what? It's funny that I find Americans tend to somehow have a certain perception of Africa, and it's even reflecting within their government.
Clearly.
It's like, have you heard an American tell a story or an experience they had in Africa?
Yeah, you guys know how it goes, right?
It's like it's is it Taraji or Pierre? What?
Henson, the actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
There's
did
this-
Taraji do?
There's this particular video I came across during this week where she's making a speech and she's like, in South Africa, there's this tribe called the Bambi tribe.
Jesus Christ. Stop it there. I don't want to listen anymore.
There is a beautiful ritual in the Babemba tribe in South Africa. I'll share it with you. When a person acts irresponsible or harmful, he is placed in the center of the village alone and surrounded by the tribe for 2 days. Every woman, man, and child gather and speak positive affirmations to the person. Remind him of all the good things he's done, every good deed, every experience they can recall, and they take their time. 2 whole days.
What village? Oh, God, bro. Make it stop.
The nonsense. Why can't you just do? It's a Google search. We don't live in a jungle.
Literally. And you have free Wi-Fi. You can just, there's Starlink. Use it.
Bro,
Elon Musk did people a favor by giving them free Wi-Fi. Just use this man's services, please.
no, people don't want to do that. It reflects in their government as well.
Gosh.
Julius became
Yes.
the face of South Africa. Again, it speaks to that. So that was the video that was played there, and you could see Sarah was so uncomfortable.
Reasonably. He had to be uncomfortable. You can't just ambush a dude just like that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
And I even had to clarify that, look, this is not our legislation. This is not
Yes.
policy. People don't just go out there and grab people's land. They don't do that.
We have some sort of, forget even democracy. That goes without saying. We are civilized. This is not a savage, I mean, excuse the word, but yes, quite literally, by saying that, you reduce us to savagery.
Irregardless of the history, people did not reduce themselves to that point.
No.
There were still policies put in place
Yeah.
to keep people civil.
Unfair policies, but policies nonetheless.
Exactly. So it was just so crazy. So now, this is now Julius defending himself.
Yeah, and he has every right to.
Okay.
Yeah, let Julius defend himself. There are a couple points in the video where I think I wanted you to weigh in on some things he said, right?
Okay.
I think from here.
Mr. Malema, you spoke a lot about your safety, especially given the utterances that were made by Mr. Trump. We see also an increased number of security. Are you really fearful for your life? And secondly, just to speak about how do those utterances by Mr. Trump, how do they affect the EFF, especially going into the local government elections?
Well, I'm not fearful. As a revolutionary, part of being killed is one of those honors you must wear with pride. But I'm not going to be reckless. When he says to Ramaphosa, why is this man not in jail? Why are you not arresting this man? He simply means, why are you not killing this man? Because this man wants to kill white people. That's what he believes. And imperialism, especially the USA, it makes such remarks meaning something different. If you remember how they killed Gaddafi, they said no-fly zone and any other necessary means in Libya. And that meant Gaddafi is going to be killed. And that's how they took care of that situation in Libya. So we know imperialism killed. The president of South Africa was unable to defend the constitution of South Africa to say, this thing that you are accusing him of and saying to us we must arrest him. Firstly, we are a constitutional democracy and we are governed by the rule of law. The judiciary has expressed itself on this matter, including the highest court in the land. If I arrest him for that, then I will be violating the constitution of South Africa, which I must respect. He failed to do that. So when a president fails to do that, you have a responsibility to defend yourself. And that's exactly what we're doing. The EFF is more powerful now. Everybody else, all of you, including Sam Kelo, you said EFF is dead, EFF is irrelevant, and all of that, only to find it in the Oval Offices and to find it in the White House. And for a USA president to argue with the South African president who's in denial, who says, this is just a small party, it's so insignificant. He says, that's not a small party. This party can gather 100,000 people under one roof in a stadium where I can't even see a single empty seat. You can't say that is a small party. We are not a small party. That's why imperialism is very scared of us.
What do you say about Julius's points? I mean, there's a few points that he touched on, and the hottest one, hot by that I mean like most controversial or eyebrow-raising one, is Ramaphosa betrayed the constitution and didn't believe in the struggle in the first place, hence his reluctance to explain the validity of the song. And the song itself, in his defense, doesn't literally mean go out and kill people, but rather tear down an oppressive system which colorized would be white. Do you think, what do you think about those statements?
Okay, in his defense, that was the very argument he presented when, remember, back in the days.
He did.
When they brought him, he presented the same argument.
Okay.
I guess they accepted it and it was valid.
Did they accept the fact that his argument was valid?
ANC never went to jail. He was never persecuted. Nothing was done wrong because it was passed on. It was a struggle song. Everyone sang it.
I see. Okay.
Back in the days. He's just doing, remember?
Yeah, he's being consistent. He's being consistent.
Yeah, he's just doing what was supposed to be done. In his own defense, what was supposed to be done is what he continues to do. This is the path we're supposed to go in, and I'm going to continue with this path. And the very practices of singing that struggle song. That's his defense. But what do I think about what he's saying?
About Ramaphosa threw the constitution under the bus and he never believed in the struggle anyway.
I think what we need to understand is Ramaphosa is playing a different game. And he's playing at the different, like I just highlighted now. The paths are too different. Julius believes in a path of struggle. We need to give our people what belongs to our people. And we need to work together as Africans to build our Africa back. We should not succumb to a white person's rulership or leadership. That's what reflects his ideology,
Anti-imperialism.
Right? Exactly. That's his ideology. Cyril is not like that. Cyril's ideology is diplomatic. The NC's ideology, I think at one point, according to what I know, they were on the same path
as Julius.
Julius. But now it's diplomatic. It has to somehow fit in with the way in which the world's government operates. It has to succumb to white powers and people at the top. So hence we cannot expect Cyril to play in this ball game whilst he has to adhere to different rules.
True. Cyril can't think like a revolutionary anymore. Needless to say that, yes, he was very much part of the struggle, but he can't put on the revolutionary cap now because, like you rightly said, they're a ruling party, right? They have the rule. They have the country, okay? So it can't be we want to go and doi because, you know what I'm saying?
They can't do that.
They can't do that. So Cyril's obviously not on the same political level, if you want to call it that. If you want to consider it as like a political lane, let's say level is kind of undermining. Political lane as Julius is. But I don't know, man. Like the song, I'm not so sure I'm comfortable with the song still. Regardless of the constitution saying that, yes, we understand its relevance as a struggle song, etc. Can you see that even though that is true, by and large, it still does promote some element of hate crimes?
He's trying to operate on the same mindset that overthrew the apartheid government.
I get you.
Even though things have changed overall, because it's no longer the same time where it was, like back in the days. It's no longer the same, the way in which the government or the social aspect and the social environment is no longer the same as it was back in the days. Because there's certain things you're restricted from doing back in the days that you can actually do now.
Of course.
So the question is, do the same practices that we practice in order to overthrow the very system that oppressed us actually applicable to the new system in which we are free? There are certain practices we're not allowed to do before, but we can do now. Is the same practices applicable? Is the same practices applicable or well fitting within this very new system? No, it's not. Because now you're going to be seen as barbaric. You're prone to be misunderstood. Just like
you are.
Trump hearing that. He doesn't want to know what your constitution says. He does not want to know what party is this. But as long as this is being allowed, becomes very problematic on a global scale.
He'll take it at face value, rightly said, right?
Exactly.
He doesn't have the benefit of context. Malema's got the benefit of context.
Yeah, but who has the time for context?
In the world that we live in, context is the difference between life and death, but it's funny how little we actually consider context, right? And that's why Malema's point, no matter how you spin it, you know what, the majority of times, it's going to be misunderstood, misinterpreted.
Always.
It's going to be seen from many different angles. And unfortunately, things like this stick. Even if Malema makes good points, and he does, by the way, throughout this video.
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't have context would read that one point and be like, okay, cool, this is this guy. And that's it. Everything else he says is gibberish.
Yeah. Like you said, we live in a society now where context is not really taken into consideration. We don't put so much emphasis on context.
We don't.
And there's no time for me to try and understand. The problem is the song is disturbing because why are you asking for the killing?
Exactly.
It
sounds barbaric.
Yeah.
Like it's
why
crazy.
Why don't you say kill the system?
Yeah, kill the system.
Kill
exactly.
the system.
You know
the
what I'm
white
saying?
system. Kill the system.
Kill the imperialist
system. The white
system.
system. But kill the farmers.
Oh, bro, that's hectic. You know what I'm saying?
That's specific.
Oof. Yeah, that's a bit too specific. That is a bit too specific.
Yeah, that's directly to. It's not even like an institution or anything. That's an entity. That's a person.
That's a person. That's how a lot of people interpret it.
It's a Boer farmer. It's a white farmer, bro.
I mean, Boer means farmer in Afrikaans, but as South Africans, we understand what that also means.
Exactly.
It's an Afrikaans person.
Exactly.
Even so, some people might say it's a derogatory term. Yes, fine, but we understand what that means. And saying that again and again and again imprints a specific image.
Regardless
on
of what,
people's
bro, you
minds.
can wake me up in the morning. Yeah? Kill the Congolese. Kill him. You're going to say, at the end of the day, you're going to say, no, we're saying no, we must kill the Congolese system.
No,
What the heck?
you're not. You're not.
What the what?
You're gonna think of a Congolese person and go do the most.
Exactly.
Like, it's
like things that need so much explanation are not, to some extent, I'm about to say this, but to some extent are not good. If you're doing something wrong, and we say we are doing something wrong, and you need to explain it so much,
yeah.
you are not doing something right.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. If something has to be overly justified, it raises eyebrows, bro. Like, why do we need to explain so much before we get to a definitive point? Stealing is wrong. Why? Because this doesn't belong to you. End of story, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy how Malema, in as much as to some extent I agree with him on certain things, but it's funny how he had so much expectation of Cyril. So you expect Mr. President to sit in the Oval Office and try and go over the Constitution and the history of South Africa in explaining the context of that very song.
He can't. He couldn't even get 2 sentences across.
Come on.
Even if he came there with good intentions, and even if he were given the platform, suppose Trump decided to be all civil and was like, okay, Cyril, explain the context. You've already done the damage. Now he's got to do it, not even from a standpoint of I'm the president, but from the standpoint of I'm so sorry for this guy. This is not what he meant. It's not going to have the same effect.
It won't have the same effect, because at the end of the day, Cyril was trying to hold his belt down. This was a manhood measuring contest.
It was. People pulled out their schlongs and measuring tape.
Cyril has no right to defend your own manhood, bro.
He can't. He's trying to do that for himself already against somebody who, according to how everyone else sees it, has the biggest manhood in the world.
He does.
He's like, pause. But that's what it looks like, right?
At this point,
after this, especially. Oh, bro.
After it's just After this, you can't face this man.
You can't.
Like, you can't face him like this. If your country is not at the level of superpower,
forget about it, bro. Forget about it.
So now, what do you think? Julius has actually become the state's enemy number one.
He's become public enemy number one, whether or not he knows it.
Yeah. Well, no, I think he knows it.
He does know it. Yeah, he does.
Now, the only problem is I fear history repeats itself. In as much as he has the right intent. He has the right intent.
Yeah, of course. Mr. Malema does. Absolutely.
I do understand there are certain ideologies people practice. Not every part of the ideology is 100% correct. There are certain parts we can actually agree with. The path in which he's heading, giving freedom, liberty to us, calling for a free state and everything, that's all right. It's just certain practices. For the first and foremost, I don't agree with the song.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't agree with the song.
Eesh.
That's bad.
Tense,
that's a crazy song. I don't agree with it. If some other things I do agree. But now, the only danger is we've seen it in history. If you become public number one, enemy, yes.
Yeah, public enemy number
enemy number one, you are in danger.
And he said it rightly. The consequences of being public enemy number one is you forfeit your life.
You are in danger. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You are in danger because we are talking about global powers.
You are. We are. And it's happened before in the past, right?
It has happened over and over again. It has happened. We've seen our Matthias. What do they call them? Matthias?
Yeah, Matthias.
Matthias, yeah. Mm-hmm. Americans say another way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Americans say a lot of things other ways.
Yes, we've seen them go down overnight. One of which was, I still don't agree with, was Patrice Lumumba. I still think he was a loud mouth.
Yeah, look, he was doing too much. We love Patrice, but at the same time, it needed to, tone down a little.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds controversial to say, but if you look at it from purely a power perspective and a logical perspective, probably not the smartest way to go about what he was trying to do, right?
It's not the smart.
Not really.
It was never the smartest, but you see what his mouth did to him. The only difference is Mr. Malema lives in a very different society.
Different era altogether.
Different era.
As well.
If he was back in the days,
Oy.
it's different. So now they've allowed him space. Bro, if they've allowed you space, they allowed you space. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
And worse, mind you, you have your own brothers. You know how it is, bro. Even our own people are not faithful to the same ideology.
Yeah, and you know what? Funny thing is, Malema is fully aware of that.
He should.
In the video, he's like, no, what Trump meant was, why aren't you killing Julius? And he said that multiple times. He didn't mean, why aren't you arresting him? Why aren't you suppressing his movement? Why aren't you getting rid of him? He understands. He knows exactly what's going to happen.
Of course he knows. He's very mature,
right?
bro.
He's a very mature guy, very intelligent guy. He knows what that means. But he is also intelligent enough to realize that that is a bygone era. You know, of martyrs dying for the cause and stuff. He did say it in the video as well. Like, I know that's what's supposed to happen, but look, this isn't the same movie.